This is your purpose in 2025. There's 3 things that are gonna happen to you between now and then, which are gonna be life-changing for you if you allow them to be. And it all starts with this. This is a letter I got from one of our team members who works at our company. It just really reminds me of what we do here and why we're doing it. Hi, I'm a content director at a marketing agency. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. You know, we talk about moving fast in business, but recently I had a conversation with someone and they were telling me how they lost their job because they moved too fast. They didn't take the time to think about the ramifications of some of the decisions they were making. So yes, you do want to move fast, but you also want to make sure you think about the decision-making process along the way. And so I wanted to share this letter with you. But before I do, let me just ask you this question. If you could ask your future self for advice, what would you ask? Think about it for a second. You can ask your future self for advice. What would you ask? Would you ask about a certain relationship? Maybe you'd ask about a career path? Maybe you'd ask about a financial decision? What would you ask your future self if you could have a conversation with them? I want you to write down the answer to that question. Don't stop the video yet. Just write it down. Then I'm going to get back to the video after you've written it down. Okay, so hopefully you wrote something down. Now here's what I want you to do with it. Put it in a sealed envelope and put it somewhere safe. Now don't open that envelope until next year. In fact, hold on to it until 2025. When you open it, read it and then comment below and let me know what it said. Let me know how accurate your prediction was of what your future self would say. The reason I am having you do this exercise is because I believe that we have a tendency to not learn from the past or from people around us. We also tend to romanticize the future. So when we think about our future selves, we think about like this great person we're going to become. We think about all of these amazing things that are going to happen. And so we almost craft this perfect version of ourselves in our heads for the future. And when we compare our current selves to that future self, we feel less than or inadequate. So I wanted you to do this exercise to humanize that future self, to realize that they're not that much different than who you are right now. The only difference is that they have more experience. They have more knowledge. They've made more mistakes. They've learned from those mistakes. And so I wanted you to get to know that future self and hear their voice. Because I think in many ways that future self is trying to tell you something important. So here's this letter that I got from a member of my team. And it really reminds me of why we do what we do. The reason I share this with you is because I think there's 3 things in this letter that will help set you up for success in 2025. Let us dive in. Hey, name, I hope you're doing well. I've been thinking about something and wanted to share it with you. I hope it helps. About 5 years ago, I stumbled upon your TED Talk, Do What You Love, the most dangerous advice ever. After watching it, I knew I needed to meet you. So I reached out to see if I could buy you a coffee. I still remember how nervous I was walking into the coffee shop. I think I was more nervous than my first job interview. Anyways, we ended up talking for hours over coffee. Around that time, I had a good corporate job working for a Fortune 500 company and was climbing the corporate ladder in a field that my parents and friends approved of. But after our conversation, something changed within me. For the first time, I started questioning my career choice. I began to wonder whether I should have become a doctor like my family suggested, or an engineer like my friends suggested, or a businessman like you suggested. One day I decided to quit my job and join you and the company. It was the most terrifying decision I ever made, but it was also the best thing I ever did. 5 years later, I'm still working with you and the company. I've learned so much during these 5 years, and I've grown tremendously both personally and professionally. I've started to build a life that I'm actually proud of. I finally know what I'm passionate about, and I love what I do every single day. I'm writing this email to simply say thank you. Thank you for taking that coffee meeting with a stranger. Thank you for showing me that it's okay to be myself and do what I love instead of what others expect of me. Thank you for inspiring me to pursue my dreams and go after what I truly want. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have taken the leap of faith 5 years ago to pursue my dreams. I wouldn't be where I am today. I wanted to share this with you in case it helps. More than anything, I wanted to say thank you and show my appreciation for everything you've done for me with gratitude name. As I read this letter, 3 things stood out to me. The first one being gratitude. I think we often forget to show gratitude. We forget to thank the people in our lives for the impact they've had on us. And I think that's a disservice to those relationships. So I encourage you to take a moment to write down a list of all the people who have impacted your life in a positive way. Then reach out to those people. Tell them how much you appreciate them. Tell them what they've meant to you and how they've impacted your life. Second thing that jumped out to me was that he was willing to take a risk. He took a leap of faith. Now, in his letter, he says that he was inspired by me. He felt inspired by me to go after his dreams, to go after what he wanted, to take a chance on himself. But really, he had to make that decision on his own. He had to look at his life and decide if he was happy, if he was fulfilled, if he was living the life he wanted to live. And ultimately, he had to decide to change course. He had to decide to take a leap of faith and bet on himself. And I think that's such an important lesson for all of us. Sometimes we have to take risks in our lives. Sometimes we have to bet on ourselves and change course. And it's scary. I mean, it's terrifying, as this letter states. But sometimes that's the best decision we can make for our lives. So I encourage you to evaluate your life right now and think about what you need to change course on. Think about what risks you need to take. Think about what baits you need to make on yourself. And the third thing that jumped out to me was that he found his passion. Ultimately, he found his passion, something that he loves doing, and he built a life around that passion. This is something that I talk about a lot here on YouTube, and it's something that we focus on a lot in our company. It is something that we really big on is finding something you love doing and then building your life around that. Because when you find something you love doing, it doesn't feel like work. And so I think we should all take a minute to think about what we love doing and how we can incorporate more of that into our lives. So in 2025, I think you have the opportunity to show more gratitude in your life. I think you have the opportunity to take more risks and make more baits on yourself. And I think you have the opportunity to find more of what you love doing and incorporate more of that into your life. I think if you do those 3 things, you'll be setting yourself up for success in 2025. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you can catch more of our content. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.